Good morning and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please do hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing okay on this morning. I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps to keep the video in the algorithm, okay? So, like, share, subscribe, comment, all of those great things, okay? I decided to do a video this morning. Of course, you guys know I took off. Okay. Yesterday I kind of just lounged around the house and recuperated and did some things around the house and just enjoyed not doing nothing. I turned off just about all of my phones except for one. Okay, that's my phone that only my mom and my kids have, and a couple of my friends, and I just kind of enjoyed just recuperating because I know from time to time that's what we need to do. We have so much going on in life. We're always trying to get it. We're always trying to hustle. We're always trying to do those things, and we forget to replenish our energy, our minds, and just lay around and not do nothing. I think they've made people think that when they take time for themselves and just lay around and have a day for themselves, that they're being lazy. When we have to replenish and recuperate and all of that. And child, I grilled fish and I was just happy. I was looking at movies and listening to music and all of that good stuff, right? And so yesterday I was thinking about, as I was laying around and stuff, about the hurts and stuff that people carry on. I think one of the things that people that I know may say to me is, you got to learn to have a forgiving spirit. And I've had people to throw that because I've been very vocal about it. Okay. And even if I wasn't vocal about it, people that have been in my presence that have done things to me, they know without me saying it. And I think so often, a lot of us carry those hurts and stuff from the past because none of us started out like that. Because I think, like, in the beginning, okay, early on, because we all have things that happen to us. Early on, I was just this a very trusting person. I can remember when I first started working for the police department, and I think Sherry is now she's a colonel at the downtown precinct. And I remember we used to all hang out at her house. She was a sergeant. Okay, me, Sherry, Sharon, all of us, and they were police officers, right? And that was during the time that I had just started working at the police department. And I remember Sherry had said to me, she was looking at me one day and she laughed. She said, you're just like I was in the beginning. I was in my early 20s. She said, you're very trusting, but you're gonna learn, if you work on this job long enough. You think everybody is good, but you're gonna learn early on that each and every body has some bad in them. And she said, I just hope that it does not hurt you too bad when you figure that out. And that's how I was in the beginning. The police department was like one of my first major jobs because I had only worked at a fast food chain, before that. And then I worked straight at the police department, and I was around all of these sharky people because this is very cutthroat at the police department. And I had the opportunity to see that. I did. And and I don't think I think that was just one of the things, just seeing people come in and seeing all of the stuff that was really going on out in the world. I was like, wow, even though I had grown up in the hood until I was 12 years old, working at the police department, because I realized at that point, dog, my mom and grandma and them really sheltered me from a lot of stuff because I had no idea that all, like, people were so like, I saw everything, every stuff they can't even put in the media. They can't even put in the media. I working there for almost 20 years. I had the opportunity to see it all, right? And so it was from that point of just being good natured and being trusting. And I think it took me a long time to understand, like when I was just open to helping people. Right. And I remember this officer, and I hear he's a major now, named Patrick Smith, said to me, the night that Turk came up there, he was working in homicides. He was one of the homicides investigators. And he and I was sitting I typed the statement, and we were sitting in there talking, and he was talking about young women. Well, we were just talking about quite a bit of stuff. And he said, you could be a threat to people. And at that time I was still so naive. I was like, why? Like, I'm not even, at that time I had not gone through the academy yet. He was like, because when you are a friendly young woman, okay, people see that as a threat. And I still could not perceive or conceive that. Like, because like I said, I had been sheltered so much, right? And so when people see me now and they see that I've grown and I've changed, and I just kind of cut things off at the core, right? I just cut it off. I just started cutting things at the knees, and very revengeful, right? um I had the opportunity to like reflect on that yesterday. We have to learn to heal our pains, because I started thinking about, and that was like way back in my early 20s when I started working at the police department. Okay. And I was exposed to all of this stuff, and I think it happened, and it happened for a good reason. But even still, and it wasn't just the police department, because I had relationships. As time go on, you have things just kind of pile up. And I'm not saying that I'm this hurt, damaged person, because I'm not. Because even in being hurt, a lot of us still love people, still very loving. I'm still good natured, not slimy or anything like that, because I'm one of those people, right? I'm not slimy, I'm good natured. I love people for real. I'm a natural protector of people, right? Even if I don't really know them like that, I'm a natural protector of them. And so that's why I say, I was thinking about that. I was like, we have to learn to heal, so that we don't bleed over on other people. Because I think one of the effects of when things of that nature, and we've all had our own experiences happen like that, we become very untrusted. And I'm very untrusting of people, right? And it could be what they taught us in the academy. You know what I mean? I'm paranoid about a lot of stuff, right? I think about, and I know people get tired of hearing me talk about on here, but I kind of stress what happened on here a lot, because I was not expecting what happened on here. I just didn't know that people was such bottom of the barrel people. I heard somebody say, yeah, we cutthroat. Now you was a bottom of the barrel nigga. Okay. You come straight up out the sewer. All right. And so I was not used to that type of stuff, right? And or not expecting it. I was used to it, but I was not expecting it. And so what it did was it sent me, and it caused me to go into another mode, because I had other things going on, and I became real vicious in the background on some stuff. But what I had to learn was I had to take my hands off of it. What we have to do is we have to learn to heal, right? So that we don't become vindictive. So we don't feel like we need to get revenge on people. Because I'm going to tell you something. When people do things to you, I don't care who it is, they've already created their own bad karma, right? They've created that bad karma. Your blood pressure and stuff will be up, because you be constantly looking and thinking of ways to try and get them back, because you feel like you didn't deserve that. It's a lot of us that don't deserve stuff. But what we have to do is we have to understand that a lot of the stuff that we go through, right, it's not to break us, it's to build us, especially if you have $1 million dream or $1 billion dream. Like I said, I'm trying to make 30 mil. And I know that it can happen because I see other people making that 30 mil, right? So, or something close to it. So when you have ambition, when you have ambitions like that, you have to understand, like, you're gonna have to go through some stuff. And so the tests and the trials come. It's not to make you bitter, it's not to make you unforgiving, which is something that I work on. Okay. It does not take away from the fact that I love people, that I'm loyal. I'm loyal to almost to a fault to people, especially if I love them. And it does not take away from my good nature. People look at me and they might think I'm mean or whatever, because I don't really let a whole lot of people get close to me. But when I love you for real. That's why I be telling everybody, I love you, I love you. Like, I be wanting to put that into the atmosphere, because I feel like so much other stuff is put into the atmosphere. When people calling each other B's and H's, we all guilty of it. Okay. When people are plotting to try and do something, it's so much evil in the atmosphere. I always make sure, because you don't ever know. Sometimes I remember when I first started, I'll never forget this, when I first started going live. And there used to be this guy, he always came up on my panel. I have not seen him in a while. And I remember he started coming up regularly. That's when I was dropping the link. And whenever I would get ready to get off, I would say, okay, I love you. And I remember the first time I said it to him, and I didn't know him, but I could tell he had a good nature. His voice started trembling, and it seemed like he wanted to cry up there, right? And so he sent me an email, and he was like, I really appreciate you telling me you love me. Like, somebody, I remember, I can't think of who it was. Somebody had posted in the comments, maybe you should think of another another word to say to your people, because he seems to be very attached. But my grandmother always taught me that. Even though she taught me, let one hurt do, don't let people come back and hurt you again. She always taught me to tell people you love them. It might brighten up their day. I love you. Thank you for coming up. I love you. It don't hurt to tell people that, you know. But what we have to do is we have to learn to heal. We have to learn to heal so that we don't bleed over on other people. I know as women, it's so, because we love so much. And when we love so hard, and we're loyal. It's so easy, right? When someone breaks your heart, for you to become damaged. And then what ends up happening is you end up treating the next person like you should have treated the last person, right? And then if it happens again, all of a sudden you become this vicious woman. Because I've heard women say, I'm just gonna become a hoe, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. And then what happens is God ends up sending you somebody good, and you end up messing up that man's life, right? Because you have all of this bad energy. You've been in contact with all of these bad people. I do believe that energies transfer. That's why I don't make myself available to everybody, especially in person. I just don't, because I do believe that bad energies can transfer. I don't even talk to any and everybody on the telephone, right? Because I understand that bad energies can transfer. And even still, with all of that hurt and stuff, when people have not healed from their hurts, you hear women say, well, I desire, to be a wife, but they have not healed, right, from all of that hurt, right, and that pain, and they're consistently allowing their injuries to bleed over on somebody that could be a good prospect. And what happens is, especially if that person is in alignment and they're vibrating on a high frequency, and they're in an alignment with God, right? God is not going to allow that man, especially if he meditates and he has an alignment with the Most High God. God ain't gonna even if he likes you, he's not going to be able to take you as his wife, because you're not going to be a wife. You're going to be a knife. You'll make that man's life a living hell. And so that's why I say, and all of us, we have to heal, even with men. Because I hear men say it all the time. I used to talk to a guy who used to always talk about, how he wanted to, he really wanted to love more, but he was still stuck on how a woman had used him back in the 1990s. Okay. And so that's why I say, we have to heal so that we don't bleed on other people. And if they're good natured people, sometimes you'll end up messing their lives up, right? If they're not strong enough to walk away. And then that is bad karma that you create for yourself. And we don't want a bunch of damaged people walking around. As I say all the time, like people are so into things, right? And I have to catch myself on that, because anytime I'm feeling a certain way, I used to do it all the time. Like if I was feeling a certain way, even before I really wasn't making no money at that time. I would always, if I wanted to feel better, I would go to a store, right? Like to a dealer's or to a Marshall's or to a Macy's, and I would just buy shoes, and I would walk out feeling like, oh my God, I got all these heels. And I know my whole paycheck, because at that time I was working. That's when I was making a little bit of money, right? I can remember way back doing it. And when my dad had passed away, even now I have to catch myself, because one of my subscribers said, Miss Tam, I think you just like to shop. I have to catch myself on that, because I'm like, dog, I love deals and I buy so many candles. And we have to watch ourselves, because we'll start putting our love into things, right? Especially when you don't want to think about something. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go do this. I think this is gonna make me feel better, but it's a temporary high, right? And before you know it, you like, one of my closets is so stocked up with candles and washing powder and stuff, it's starting to look like I'm hoarding, right? But that's the reason why I say we have to deal with those hurts and stuff that we have, because we start thinking about what I can't even close my closet now. And then people start coming into your house and stealing your stuff, and you don't even they know you don't know. Because my daughter say all the time, Mama, you don't even know what you got. That's because they come here and steal all the time. So I said that to say that sometimes people put their love into things instead of, and scared to put love into other people. And I think that's why all of this barbaricness, right, is in the atmosphere, because things can't love you back. I feel like we're supposed to be exchanging energies as it relates to love. I love you, you love me, and everybody's being filled, right? Because love feels you. But the problem is people want love, right? And or they want to drain you because it's safe. It's like a defense mechanism. It's safe to just drain somebody else. I'm gonna get them because they might get me. And all the time, this person has divinely been sent into your life to help you to ascend to real high places, because two is always better than one, right? And people end up mishandling that, and then they wonder why they're stagnant, because you created bad karma, because that was really a good person, right? And so that's why I say we have to heal. And I'm talking about with men or women, because I hear people say all the time, well, I want to get married, I want to love men and women. But then you keep listening to them, they really scared to love, they're scared of being used, they're scared of all of that, instead of uh just exuding, producing the energy that you want back. All you got to do is just keep putting good energy out there, and I promise you, whether you believe in God, the universe, or whatever, I promise you, whatever it is that you put in out, it will appear. I used to and I know I have all of these examples. I used to and he's still a good friend of mine. He's a retired chief, and he works at the academy now part-time as a recruiter. And he used to always say, when we were talking about, when I went through the academy, and it was talking about chasing people, when he would give a class at the academy, and he would go, when you chase them, you chasing down a suspect, you might, what you talking about chasing them, when you catch them, what you gonna do with them? You got to know what to do with it. And it's the same thing when people coming into your life. If what you pray for appear, you gotta, it appears. Once you get it, you gotta know how to handle it. My dad used to always say to me, I give you information. People can give you knowledge, but you got to know how to process it. You got to know what to do with information. And that's one of the first things that he started teaching me. He said, you can have it, you can know it. But how you gonna process it? What you gonna do with it? You gotta know what to do with information. Okay. Because some people feel like when they know something, they just need to put it out or weaponize it, because a lot of people want information so that they can weaponize it, right? And they just creating bad karma for themselves. But when you have that knowledge and you know how to process it and know what to do with it, you'll be a force to be reckoned with, right? And so that's why I say it's just it's time to heal, right? It's time to learn to heal so that our hurts and stuff don't and pains don't bleed over on other people. So if you desire to be a wife, you can truly be a good wife and not a knife to that man, right? Because he might be a good man. Or if you are you truly want you a good wife, what you need will appear. You know what I mean? The universe or the Almighty God will send you a good wife, right? And you all match, okay? Because some people, they messed up by sex and they wonder why they screaming and fussing and stuff all the time. Because once you get up off your back, what do you have in common? Once y'all get through licking and lapping and sucking and all that, you get out the bedroom, y'all just looking at each other, right? Because stuff like that gets old. But when you really vibrate, and I love when I started learning about this, when you really when you're vibrating on your frequency, especially when you've learned to raise your vibrations, right? And you're vibrating and you're in on the frequency that you should be on. Because I think we all ascend to different levels in life. But when you're vibrating and you just mellowed out on your frequency, you start to run into all of those things that was created for you. Can you imagine that? When you hear people say, I just have bad luck all the time. You see some people that's just chill. Have you ever seen people like that? They just chill and they say, I'm gonna go, I want to do this, and they just be chill. They go, hey, life is good. I get everything I want. And it's not because they're necessarily making all of the money they want. It's because they know when it's time to ascend, they're gonna start making more money, and everything that they think about, they just run into it, right? Because it was meant for them, right? And they're in their lane, vibrating on their frequency, right? They going through all of their tests and stuff, and they're passing them without a problem. And then once they pass them, they start ascending to another level, because that's what life is about. Life is about levels, right? I think oftentimes we get stuck on the first floor, as I always say, and on the basement, right? Because we don't know how to process information. We don't know how to handle information. We're hurt. We're always looking at ways to get at people, to violate people, to hurt people, and you stay stuck on the first floor. I don't deal with people with first floor mentalities. Okay. I know I ain't all the way right, but one thing I don't have is a first floor mentality, right? And so I said all that to say this. I know I got into a whole lot of stuff. We got to learn to heal, y'all. I was thinking about that yesterday. It's good to just take time to yourself. Sometimes, my cousins and them say, child, they go to antisocial. I'm not an antisocial. I've always been quiet and reserved and shy and off to myself anyways. I like to have fun, but I create. I'm real creative in my mind. I like to think about stuff and write it down and create stuff. So I've always been better. Even when I was in college, I've always been better, did things better by myself. I never wanted to join in the sororities because when you join certain types of groups, right? Sometimes people want you to treat people. You're supposed to treat people a certain way. And I've always wanted to treat the janitor, because that's what I was taught. the same way that I would treat the president, right? Because it's all about the energy that that person produces towards you. So I don't turn my nose up at people, right? Because if the president think he gonna turn his nose up at me, it's F him. I don't want nothing to do with him, right? So I've always been told, because see, people like to respect positions. I think that's the issue. People like to respect positions. I was always taught you respect the man and then the position. Because if you respect the man first, respecting the position just comes naturally. But unfortunately, people respect titles, right? And not necessarily the person. The person could be a really good person, right? Could really speak some stuff into your life, but they the maid. And so people feel like, well, that's a nobody right there. But that maid is filled with wisdom, can really pray you up out of some stuff, and can point you into the direction of peace or some good stuff. Something else good, right? Connect you with somebody that you would never even know that they know. But because they're the maid, you feel like they're not supposed to be respected. But the CEO, right? You feel like can give you something, right? And you asking them, and asking ain't never been in my diet plan. Okay. And so that's why I say we have to, it's unfortunate. Like I've been invited to quite a bit of stuff, right? As it relates to certain parties and certain groups. And hey, I'm not one of those people that like to be out and get to know people. I have to say everything has always been by way of my dad's relationships, right? And once people got to know me, I've never been that type of person to want to be in certain groups, not unless I knew it was a networking situation and I had something going on, such as like I write grants and stuff, and I knew that it would help my business. I knew there was going to be people there that I needed to talk to, right? That's it goes back to what my dad says: get the knowledge, and once you get it, know how to process it and know what to do with it. I do that. But as far as like going to parties just to be sitting around kissing somebody's ass and there's no benefit to it, the people don't really even like me or anything like that. I don't do stuff like that, right? But we have to learn, y'all, to heal. And once you learn to heal, because you have so many people that have hurts, right? They hurt so bad until they are absolutely rotten. And they feel like, because I'm hurt, I can't stand to hear people say this. Well, it happened to me. If it happened to me, it's got to happen to you. Or because they're miserable, they want to see other people miserable, right? So that's why I say people have to learn to heal. And and they might be talented, but as a result of what they do, they stay on the first floor and they get a lot of low vibrational people and put them around them and keep them in the basement and on the first floor with them, right? So that's why I say it's time to heal, and it's time to start producing love. I don't know about nobody else, but I just love the idea of the definition of love. You know what mean? Because love truly do mean happiness. It brings happiness when we produce love and put it into the atmosphere, instead of all of this miserable stuff and talking bad about people and trying to um, um, dig graves and ditches for people, right? It's time to heal. It's time to heal, and it's time to ascend. Heal so that you can ascend and not bleed over on good people and bring misery to their life. Because some people really be wanting to mess with you the long way. Okay. I can't tell y'all how many times, especially when we all go through our up and down journeys, where I was so untrusting and I'd had something to happen to me, and then something appeared that would have been a good thing for me. And I completely ran it off, right? I completely or dismissed it or closed the door on it. No, I don't trust that. A lot of times we block our own blessings because we're so untrusting, right? And then later on, we figure out, we see them again, and we figure out, dog, that was really a blessing. I've had that happen to me where I was praying for something and then it appeared, and I thought I didn't trust the person. And then later on, I might have seen the person somewhere blessing somebody else, and they saw me and they was like, I tried to help you, but I was so untrusting. I go, dog, okay, well, then I would try to find a way to make it right. Well, maybe they would not have blessed me the way that they blessed them. Maybe, we try to find a way when we mess up something, we try to find a way to rationalize it. So that's why I say, y'all, we got to heal so that our hurts and pains, number one, don't block us from something good. And then we don't bleed over on good things and good people. Because a lot of times we're keeping ourselves stagnant because we want to keep the same old situations around us because we're familiar with them. You know what I mean? People that we were supposed to have been cut off, but we're so familiar with those situations. It's safe for us. Well, at least I know I'm safe with this. I ain't got to worry about this, this, and that. And it keeps us from ascending. Well, if I ascend, I got to meet new people. What if they hurt me? At least right here, I'm familiar with this situation. I know how to cover my heart. I know how to block this. I know this. I know the routine on that. So it can't damage me too bad. But new levels bring new devils. And that's the reason why I say we have to heal, right? So that we can go on and get the experiences. Because when you ascend to another level and you start vibrating on another frequency, it's going to be new expectations, right? You're going to have to learn new situations, right? And you're going to have to learn to cover yourself from things that is not conducive to you and get the lesson so that you can ascend from that level, right? Okay. Look at me, since I'm getting into this, my phone starting to go off, right? Since I done cut it back on. But let's learn to heal, y'all. And I'm talking about myself too, right? Let's learn to heal, because I don't want to run no more good men off, because I'd be scared to talk to when guys start. And I have so many, y'all just don't know. I get to thinking about when I'm looking in my inbox, I'll start blocking people. And I had a guy to make another page and say, dog, as a matter of fact, there was this guy, he had been my friend on Facebook the whole time. I had no idea that he had been looking at my vlog, because I don't accept new people on my main page anymore, since these freakos, my kids and stuff are on my page. So I don't accept friendships from freakos. Okay. And not everybody is a freako. I tell everybody to contact me on my like page, because I'm on that page a lot. You can inbox me and everything on Real Talk with Tamara like page, and on Facebook, and so, and on Instagram. And so we were friends like on Facebook. He said for some years, okay? And he sent me a message saying, I like your vlog, and he started getting into some more stuff. You're very nice looking, this and that. And I was reading the message. I was like, he on my blog? Because of the stuff that had happened on YouTube, okay, with these freakos, some of these freakos, other vloggers, it set my antennas up, and I was like, oh my God, my kid's on this page. I deleted him. And then he sent me a message. He was like, we were friends on Facebook. Why did you delete me? So then I blocked him. So then he made another page and he sent me a message, and it came through. And you know how when people are not your friend, how it comes. He was like, I don't know what I did to you. I didn't mean no harm, but we have been Facebook friends for years. He even talked about how he lived down there close to my relatives around Fairleigh. He said, if I did anything to you, I apologize. Right. And it wasn't until later that I thought about that. I was like, dog, like my antennas went up. Like I started to block that so quick. Like, and we do that. And I think about it, he didn't mean no harm. He absolutely didn't mean no harm. It's just that we get scared, right? Especially when something has happened to us. And I'm thinking, ain't nobody on my vlog supposed to be on my personal page. I have some people that are some other women, right? I'm like, no, because my kid, I mean, I just immediately went into protective mode, and he had been my Facebook friend for years because he lived down by my aunt, right? And so that's why I say we have to heal so that our hurts and pains don't bleed over on other people, and we don't start blocking blessings. We don't start mistreating people. I have to catch myself every now and again when I see somebody come into my blog and they start saying something to me. They don't necessarily know, because new people are starting to get wind of my blog, and they come in, and when they're new, my antennas automatically go up, right? And my defense mechanisms automatically go up if they say something, right? Especially if they come in and they say, you nice looking, or if they say something, I go, who are you? Who sent you? Don't talk to me like that. Like, we have to heal when sick people have violated you and done things to you, so that you don't run other people out, because they might leave the blog saying that bitch crazy. The only thing I did was when I called myself being nice, but they don't know all of the stuff that had happened, right, in the past, right? So that's why I say that we have to heal. I'm talking about what vloggers violating me, these men stalking and stuff. So that's why I say we have to heal, right, from the hurts and the pains, so that we don't bleed over on good prospects, or people that just, they have good intentions and they don't mean any harm, or a blessing that God has sent into your life, something that you have been praying for and it appears, but because you're afraid to raise your vibration, and especially your vibration as far as thinking and all of that, you will run it off because you're still hurting and bleeding on anything that comes around you. And if you bleed, don't nobody want no blood on them, especially if it's not theirs. They don't even want their own blood on them. So if you're not careful, what's going to end up happening is you're going to run everybody away from around you. And then what'll happen is you're going to bleed out, which means emotionally, you'll be emotionally drained, right? You'll mess around and be lonely for the rest of your life. Nobody will want to have anything to do with you, right? So that's why I say we have to heal, okay? But anyways, I want to go on and put this video out because I got some things I got to do today, but I am gonna do another video about I got something to tell y'all about straight drop, okay? But I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. I said that you'll have some more vloggers running like they know what trying to guess what I'm gonna put out, but they don't know. They don't know. So just keep your lies. And I have to say that, like, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but I know how these vloggers are. Okay, we know how they get down. But I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to support the channel, you could definitely support the channel via Cash App. I'll talk with you later.